right. So, it looks like
Killing
on this
you
account,
will be one of my
you
finest
are currently in
moments.
Bronze 3. You've been playing a few
You
different champions
lack imagination.
throughout your ranks this season, but you're focusing on Fizz for now. So let's see how this goes. You're against Silas. Unfortunately, I'm just gonna, before I say anything, I'm still gonna help you out because I'm gonna say two things here. One, Silas just happens to be actually a really hard counter to Fizz. So just in general, when you're playing against Silas's, don't get too discouraged if you get behind. He deals with Fizz really, really well. He completely hard counters him. However, that being said, when you're in, it's my firm belief that when you're in like Iron, Bronze, Silver, the laning matchups don't matter as much. When you get to Gold, they matter a little bit. When you get to Plat, they matter. When you get to Diamond, you actually have to start picking around lane matchups. Again, this is my personal opinion. Even though Silas counters Fizz, I guarantee you that the individual player, because you're in Bronze, is going to either not know why Silas counters Fizz, and he's not going to play the matchups and the combos and wait for your abilities appropriately to actually like make use of the counter, or B, he's going to make his own mistakes that you can capitalize on. So it won't matter that it's a hard counter. So Silas does counter Fizz. I want to get that out of the way, but there's still going to be plenty you can do to probably win this lane. So I'm going to try and help you out with that, try and show you some of the more, whether it's macro and rotating and looking on the map, or it's other stuff. So right off the bat, let me turn visions. Okay. So I wouldn't actually sit here, and the reason why is because I'm going to use my pen to like draw on the screen. Let's just say that either the Silas comes down this way, or the enemy Twitch/Tryndamere comes up this way. Like, I know before I turn the vision off, you know Tryndamere's here because you saw him on the vision, but in the real game you don't know that yet, so I'm gonna ignore that. If they come this way, you have to go up and around or down and around, which means that you can't get away. Right? So if someone's right here and someone's right here, if you go down, they're just going to get you. If you go up, they're going to get you. So this little bush is actually a really bad spot to sit, unless the one exception is if your team is also like right here waiting for someone. So if they come in and you bait them, and maybe you have like a Thresh or a Blitzcrank and you just like hook them back over the wall or something, that's different. But to be here alone is a little risky. Because you have to, it's pretty hard to get out. And even if you started your E as Fizz to jump over the wall, E costs a lot of mana level 1, so you don't want to waste that, because then you go to lane without all that mana, and that's not ideal.
Minions have spawned.
Ooh, go back please. Okay, good. The other thing I'd point out is that your jungle matchup, Tryndamere into Rengar. So this is something you should think about for every single game as a mid laner, not just Fizz. Obviously, you want to figure out your mid matchup. That's the most important part, because that determines your laning, your roaming, your pressure, things like that. But the jungle matchup is actually also very important. And the reason why is because as a mid laner, if you go down to the minimap right now, because you're in the middle of the map, you have access to roam top, you can roam to the jungle, you can roam to the bot jungle, you can roam to the bottom. So the whole idea, and just how you win a game as a mid laner, is you get pressure in lane first, then you use that pressure advantage to go somewhere else, whether it's top side jungle, bot lane, or top lane. And you use that advantage in mid to spread the advantage to the other lanes. The best way I can describe your mid lane is that there's two phases, right? Phase 1 is winning the lane matchup. And lane matchup does not mean the 1v1 against the mid laner. You're going to have to fight the other jungler. You're going to have to set up ganks for your jungler. It's really, the lane matchup is you and then anyone that ends up in your lane. Just like probably the first like 10-ish minutes of the game, maybe like 12 to 14 minutes of the game when turret plates fall down. That's like the lane matchup. After that, and it's not like a hard stop. You can start. It's all fluid and dynamic, like when you start doing other stuff. But just for sake of talking about it, breaking it down. Then like the other part of the game is actually taking this lead and using it. For example, Fizz is an assassin, which means he pops off and he snowballs. So you can have, it's not uncommon to have like a 15, 16, 17 kill Fizz game. But if you have 17 kills and you got the vast majority of them either in mid lane or right next to mid lane, you're not actually doing anything with your lead. And what do I mean by that? You can stomp the Sylas, in theory, as many times as you want, but that's not how you win the game. You win the game by getting objectives and taking the Nexus down, right? The way you do that is by winning late game team fights or creating pressure before it gets to late game where your team has an advantage. For example, split pushing or getting side lanes or invading the enemy jungle. Oh, whoa, that's way. Or invading the enemy jungle to keep their pressure down. Still too quick. So I'll talk more about this later, but the main idea here is that you can literally go 30-0, but if you just stay in mid lane, you're going to lose the game. You have to get an advantage here, and then either go pressure the jungle to get Tryndamere behind, camp the jungle to get free kills on Tryndamere and feed it to your Rengar to spread the lead between both of you, roam top to kill the Urgot, roam bot to kill the Twitch. You have to spread that lead, or else it doesn't really matter how far ahead you get. And that was more in general. So you might even lose the odds. I have no idea, but that's just like in any game in general as a mid laner, that's your main goal. Okay, so that's the mistake. So on Fizz, with your E, it has two uses. One, it does damage. Clearly, as you just used it, you eat onto Sylas. Two, it allows you to, actually, I lied, it has three uses. One, it does damage. Two, it's mobility. It allows you to go from here to here, right? You go up, you go down. Three, it allows you to become invulnerable in dodge abilities. So think about it in terms of efficiency, right? If your E has three uses, damage, mobility, and dodging, why would you ever only use one of them? So you use your E to jump onto Sylas, and then you're gonna walk away. What's gonna happen is that your E is very low damage early game. Fizz's E does not do a lot of damage. His biggest damage comes from a QW auto attack, so Q auto W combo, and I'll talk about that more later when we get into trades in lane. But your E is very low damage, so what you really want to use it for is utility. And what utility means is you use it for the mobility, like escaping, or to dodge an ability from Sylas and make sure he can't hit you and CC you. Specifically, you probably want to dodge his chains because it starts his CC combo and you don't want to get locked up like that. So when you use your E to go on top of him, now you have no more mobility. Because normally what you do is you save your E to get out with your E so you can go to safety. So you can't do that anymore because you used it to get on top of him, and you can no longer use it to dodge an ability. And since you're walking away the whole time, Sylas is just going to follow you and auto attack you the whole time. So not only is Sylas going to hit an ability for free because you can't have your E up to dodge it anymore, but he's going to get a bunch of auto attacks on you as you walk away. And on top of that, something a lot of people don't think about, the minions are all attacking you. So the way that minion aggro works in this game is that they will attack each other until you start attacking one of the enemies, right? So when you jump on Sylas like that and do damage to Sylas, every single minion changes their aggro to you. They're no longer going to fight the other minions. Now you can use this at a high level for wave manipulation. Sorry, I couldn't get the word out. To try and push the wave, stall the wave, freeze the wave. I'm not going to talk about that right now because that's a different topic entirely. But what you need to know for trading is that whenever you do damage to Sylas, all of the minions are going to attack you, and you're going to take bonus damage from it. So the reason why this E, and sorry if I'm going too like in depth or too detailed. Like I want to not only point out the mistake but explain why it's a mistake so you learn from it. As I truly believe that if I just sit here and tell you do this, do that, that was wrong, that was right, you're not going to learn because you're not going to know why. So you're not going to replicate the actions that were correct in a game and vice versa. So the reason why this is bad is because you E'd onto him, which got rid of your dodge and got rid of your escape. You did barely any damage to him, and now you're walking away, and he, in between his auto attacks, his abilities, and all the minions, you're gonna take more damage than you do to him. And that's the long-winded explanation of why. I can prove it to you in 2 seconds. I'm gonna look at your health bar and his health bar. You're gonna see which one's bigger. Alright, so granted, he missed his ability, so you got lucky there. He still came out of the trade on top. If you look at the health bar, he lost less health than you did. However, it's pretty close, right? It's pretty close. However, he missed his ability. Do you see the chain he threw? If he hit the chain, you not only took damage from the chain, but you took 2 more auto attacks while you were CC'd. Like, I'm not exaggerating. You would have been at this health at 1 minute and 40 seconds into the game, simply because you chose to E onto him. So that's one example of like a lot of very small small choices can have really, really big impacts. If he didn't miss his chain and completely whiff it, you would have had this much health left. Just that. And now your entire laning phase is ruined, because if you step up with that little health, if you step up, he immediately combos you out and you die once he gets level 2. If you stay back, Fizz is okay at farming under tower, but he's going to have the pressure where once you go in, at this early in the game, the Scuttle Crab's up, right? He's just going to rotate the Scuttle Crab for one of his junglers, or he's going to rotate into the enemy jungler and put vision down, or he's going to poke you with his Q, with the slap, right? So just, I want to talk about why it was wrong, what you can do to like fix it, like explain the reason behind it, and then 3, show you what could have happened. And what's probably been happening in a lot of your games is like these little decisions in the first minute or 2 you don't think about, like when to trade, can actually have huge impact on your entire laning phase. And I'm sure you've been in a game like we all have, where you take a huge trade early and get like chunked out, and then it completely affects the rest of your laning phase, because now you have to play really passive and back off, and you can't get any farm, and you have no pressure and all that kind of stuff, and it's just not fun. Not a fun experience. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, well, you said don't E into him before. Why was that a good trade if all you was E onto him? Well, that was different. He was already at half health, and you knew that your electrocute proc was back up. So between your E auto electrocute and then because you can proc electrocute with your ignite, you knew you had enough damage to kill him there, and that's why that was a good trade. The initial one was not, because you did not have enough damage to kill him, and he did more damage to you. He just missed his ability. In that one, it didn't matter if he had his abilities up, because you knew he was level 1, and you knew that you had your full combo up in terms of E, electrocute, auto, and ignite, and that was enough to kill him. So now, yeah, just walk away. Don't try and fight the push here. Let him push the wave. It's fine. You can walk away here. So, good. I also want to explain. Let's go over here. So the way that waves work in this game is that I seriously doubt this Tryndamere in bronze, no offense, but like I just don't think he'll understand how to hold a wave for his mid laner. So he's probably going to slow push this back to you, which means the 100% correct move for you is to back. Don't even worry about this, just back. And when you come back to lane, the wave's going to be sitting like right here for you, because he's just going to probably clear it and shove it down and reset it for you. It's really good. Let's see what he does. He does exactly that. He evens the wave back out for you. So this actually helped you. So this helped you because your wave, let's say you just have make up number. Let's say you had like 12 people here. They only had like 6 or 7 minions, right? So your wave would have naturally kept pushing because you have more minions than them, and then it would have got stuck here when Sylas came back, and that's really bad for you. When the wave is stuck here, it means you have to come all the way up this far down the lane, exposing yourself to ganks. You're past the midline, right? You're exposing yourself to ganks just to farm. And if Silas was good, he's going to try and slow farm the wave and keep it here and kind of get like a freeze going, which forces you to stand way up here, which exposes you to ganks from Tryndamere, right? So this is like a danger zone. You don't want to be stuck here. However, Tryndamere thinned the wave back out. Now it's 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, 4. It's perfectly even now, which means the wave's not going to go anywhere unless a champion comes and like interferes with it. So Silas is back. So Silas is going to push this, and it's going to end up going under your tower. But Tryndamere helped you out because he moved the wave from like the default position being here all the way back to being here. And this is way safer for you. And since you already have a kill, you want it to be safer because you don't need to risk your bounty and your life shoving Silas in right now. You're a melee assassin, not a poke mage, so you don't get much benefit from keeping him under tower here until you can dive him. So you want the wave back here, or even actually under your turret would be the best. If you can do the opposite of what I explained, if you can freeze Silas here, that's the best because now he has to overexpose himself, and he's exposed to ganks from your Rengar. And Rengar ganks from mid lane are super easy because the bushes are right here. So this is the best spot. This is second best spot. Up here is like the worst. You don't want to get stuck there, unless you have a lot of vision in the jungle, so you know where Tryndamere is, and you're purposely trying to dive. I'll explain Fizz's combos now, just in case you don't know them. So when you get level 3, obviously you'll have a point in Q, W, and E. You're going to want to do your basic combo. I'll see what you do level 3 first, and then if you don't do it, I'll let you know. Yeah, so that was nice. Okay, so I want to explain to you the real combo. So what you want to do is you Q in, you get the damage from Q. Then what you do is you auto attack, like a regular auto attack, okay? So you get your Q onto him, auto attack him, then immediately after the auto attack, use your W. I'm sure you figured out by now that W is an auto attack reset. And what that means is that normally for every champ, they have an attack speed, right? The attack speed indicates how much time passes between each auto attack. If you're sitting there autoing like a champion, a minion, doesn't matter. However, some abilities in the game have what's called an auto attack reset, which means that usually these abilities are just empowered auto attacks, like Fizz W, Jax W. There's a million other ones in the game. Just when the ability is basically just an empowered auto attack, what it does is it completely resets that timer. So let's say normally Fizz has to wait 3 seconds between auto attacking. He auto attacks once and he has to wait 3 whole seconds, then he auto attacks again. If you use your W, you can ignore that timer. So you can auto attack once and then theoretically a millisecond later press W and auto attack again right away with the empowered W. The reason why that's good is because this procs electrocute. So you get Q, normal auto, W. And this entire combo can be done very quickly because the first auto attack, it doesn't have a timer based off the Q, only other autos. So you can auto attack immediately after the Q, like your normal auto, and then your W can auto attack immediately after the first auto because it has the reset ability. So you Q auto W and it procs electrocute. So these 4 things do a massive chunk of damage to your enemy. And then you have 2 options. If you have Ignite and you have more damage, you can use your E to stay on him. And what I mean by that is, let's say Silas is here, right? You'd Q in, do the auto, do the W, you'd like E out to dodge an ability, then E back on top of him to do more damage, ignite him, and then just auto attack him until he dies. That's like the normal Fizz combo, right? However, if either you don't have Ignite, you don't have enough, like he's not like super low, like you can't say like, oh, I definitely have enough damage, just auto him to death, then you 100% of the time use your E to get out. You never use your E to do damage on an enemy if he's not in range to be killed. And the reason why I'm gonna show you with this exact clip. The reason why is because you will always lose the trade. And what do I mean by that? Well, this is how trading works, right? Each champion, let's say champion A and champion B, has a set amount of abilities with their trade. So for Fizz, it's the Q auto W and then the E potentially. And then for Silas, he's going to use his Q, his empowered auto, his E chain, his empowered auto, and by that point in time, he has his other ability back up. And if he stole your ult, he'll use ult too. And that's his combo, right? So he has his 4 combo, you have your 4 combo. The Q auto W E, he has his Q auto E auto, and then whatever the W auto. So actually he has like a 6 combo, and then he has electrocute proc, you have electrocute proc, so it all gets in there. The way you win trades in this game, regardless of your champion, it does not matter if you're Fizz, if you're Silas, if you're whatever. The way you win trades in this game is by getting your abilities off and then getting out before your opponent can answer with their abilities. And let's use this for a little bit. So let's say there's a bar, right? And this bar is how much damage you can do to your opponent, right? So if you're Fizz, so this will be Fizz. I cannot draw the mouse, sorry. Fizz, and this will be Silas, right? So let's say your Q does that much damage. That's your Q. Your second auto adds that much. Your W does that much. And then the electrocute proc does a bonus. So you do this much damage. This is your trade. Getting a little too... Okay, so you get the point. Now, in all that time, and then you have your E, but the E is going to be... I'll mark a special point on the E, right? So in Silas, on the other hand, let's say if you do Q auto W, by the time you've done Q auto W, Silas has probably hit you with 1 auto. Let's do 1 auto. And he's going to have attempted to hit you with maybe his, let's say his chain to try and CC you, right? The E. Okay? So, by the time that you get your electrocute proc off, he's casting his E. You have 2 options. Either A, you stay on top of him and do your E damage, or B, you use your E to leave instead, and you only do this much damage when now you're safe. So the reason why I drew these bars is because in the same amount of time you can do all this damage, Silas is only going to do this tiny bit to you. However, if you use your E and like on Silas you go like that and go E and then E back onto him for damage, now you can't get out. So you have to walk away, and in walking away, Silas gets his E off. He gets his other auto. Electrocute. He gets his W. And his other auto. Now, if you look, and you maybe hit him with like another auto, right? Let's just say that you did your E, and you have like another auto. Now you've done this much damage, and Silas has done this much damage. Notice how that trade is extremely even. That's an extremely even trade, and it's so close that the only difference in damage is going to come to which one of you misses an ability, because trades aren't perfect. You might miss your E, you might double click an auto, you might auto minion by accident, he might whiff his chain like he did already. So whoever misses an ability loses the trade now. However, before, you didn't have to leave it up to chance that you missed an ability. If you backtrack to what we had before, let's get all the way back here. You do this much damage, he only does this much. That's an insane advantage for you if you just use your combo and then use E to get out, right? So if you do your combo, hit him, and then use your E to get out every single time, you're gonna have basically full health and he's gonna have half health. And then what do? You wait 13 seconds for your combo to be back up, and you do it again, and this time you stay on him with the extra. This time now you use your E on top of him instead of getting away. Remember how I told you earlier is that the one exception when you use your E is if you think you can finish the person right here, you can kill them right now. Then even then your E is less for the damage and more just to dodge their ability, so that you're not in danger of dying, and then get back onto them to auto attack them. So that's how a Fizz trade works. All right, so again, I'll go over it one more time. Q, auto, W, E to get out, and there's a little asterisk next to that. If you have Ignite up, if they're low health, if you think you can finish them off, use your E to dodge their ability, then go back on them. Remember how I told you in the very beginning, E does 3 things. It does damage, it does mobility of like getting to someone or getting away from someone, and it has the dodge mechanic. You are invulnerable. You want to be the most efficient with E ever. So you always have to use 2 of these things, always, like bare minimum. And mobility, it doesn't just mean jumping to someone, it means getting away from someone or gap closing on an enemy that is like walking away with like 10 health and they like barely got away. Jumping onto a full health laner in lane is not using mobility. That's actually wasting mobility, right? So if you're not using damage and mobility or the dodge mechanic, you're wasting your E. So even when, let's just say Sylas had like 10 health, right? Let's just say, ignore all this, and you do your trade. So clearly this is a situation where you want to use your E to get back on top of him because he's so low. However, you still don't just blindly use your E at the end of your combo. So your E does the least amount of damage. So your combo is still Q, auto, W, electrocute. That is still your highest damage output. Your E does less damage than all of these because the electrocute proc is only because of the auto, so it buffs what the auto damage like realistically does, right? So your E does the least amount of damage. So you still don't use your E for damage here. You wait till your combo is done. You go in, do Q, auto, W, electrocute. Then you save your E. You save it. And what do I mean by that? The Sylas is going to retaliate. He's going to try and either hit you with a Q or a chain, right? Or maybe a W, just to like panic and try and get some health back, right? So he's gonna hit you with something. What you want to do is save your E for his retaliation. Once he throws out his skill shot, then you immediately click E. And when you click E now you've dodged his skill shot. So he has an ability on cooldown, he lost mana, and he didn't do any damage to you. And then after that, you jump back onto him. And that's how you use the E efficiently, because now you've used the E for the dodge and the damage. So that's good. So that's what makes up for it, where because you're not using the mobility aspect of getting away, you're going to use the damage, and that means you also have to dodge an ability. You don't just want to blindly use E. Okay, I know that was very long-winded, and that was like very in-depth a little bit, but you can rewatch this video as many times as you want, and I wanted to really explain why you do certain things instead of just telling you. So like, for example, I would have much rather explained all that to you than just said, yo, just always use E to get out, and then like period, stop, taking 5 seconds to do it and moved on, because then you don't know why, and you're probably not going to actually do it in game, because you're going to think, oh, but I can do more damage, and you're going to stay on him, and then not realize, yeah, but that means you also take more damage. Like doing 20 extra damage to take 700 damage is not worth it. And that's the reality of using E on someone. You've already won the trade, just get out. Don't stay in. Okay, so now let's keep going. That's a good ward. Now just wait. That's fine, just wait for him. There's no sense rushing this. Okay, so here, okay, so see how the wave, let's count minions real quick. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minions, and he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if he has 7 and you have 10, especially because 2 of his are pretty low, right? That means that your wave is gonna push. You're pushing in. However, he kind of has it trapped right here right now, where he's going to try and, if he's smart, he's going to try and what's called thin the wave, and he's going to hit only a few of your blue minions to match the numbers up. So he's going to try and make it as slow as possible to just kind of get this down to maybe like 9, then maybe 8, then 7, and by the time he has it at 7, he probably only has like 5 people, and he's going to use that to freeze the wave right here and just barely attack these. And what that's going to do is remember how I told you this is like a danger zone? He's going to try and keep you up here, especially because you know Tryndamere's still right around here, right? He just ganked you, you dodged it, which is good. He walked away, you BM'd him, that's fine. But you know he's still somewhere in this area. So if Sylas can get you to walk up here, he's baiting you into getting ganked by the Tryndamere again. That's basically what's going to happen. So what you want to do is one of two things. One, you want to move your body to this side of the lane. And you're going to think like, why? Well, you know Tryndamere's down here. So, and you have vision in this bush. So the only way that Tryndamere can sneak up on you is if he comes that way, right? Or if he comes through vision, but you're so far forward that it doesn't matter, because even if you see him, you still can't get out in time. He's going to get you, right? So if you move your body over here, then that gives you 2 advantages. One, it puts you way closer to your jungler Rengar, which means that if Sylas does invade you, or Tryndamere does go on you, or Tryndamere does gank you, you can retreat to Rengar, and now it's a 2v2 instead of a 2v1, right? So that's benefit 1. Being closer to your jungler is usually a safe bet as mid lane. Benefit 2 is that since you know Tryndamere's down here somewhere, he's going to have to walk across the entire lane to find you. So if he has to walk across the entire lane, it gives you way more time to react to it and to get out. Especially with your E, where you can jump over walls, it's way simpler. So watch, if you're standing here, Tryndamere only has to go E over the wall, W to slow you, and Sylas chains you, and you're dead. However, if you're over here, Tryndamere has to E over the wall, and now you have this entire area to just walk back, save your E, and react, and get back to tower safely. So that's your 2 things to do. Number 1 is, walk over here. That's step 1. Number 2 is, now that you're safe from Tryndamere, you can actually impact the wave and get farm again. Because now, even if you're up here, you're not standing here where you can get ganked. You're standing here where you can get out or go back to Rengar. And so this gets to my next point. You want to do what's called resetting the wave. So this is a bad wave spot for you. It's bronze, so Sylas might just AFK push the wave and fix it for you, but I'm going to teach you how to do it yourself. That way, if you're not relying on the enemy to mess up, basically, and not understand that they can freeze you here. So whenever you're in that situation where you have like 10 and they have like 7 or something along that ratio, and your minions are pushing in, you are in danger of being frozen on. And in order to break that freeze, you have to do what's called crashing your wave, which means killing all of Sylas's minions so that your wave walks under tower, and the tower starts to kill the minions for you. And when the tower kills the minions, they'll all be dead or almost dead by the time that the next minion wave comes. So the next minion wave will have 0 resistance because everything here will be gone, and it will walk all the way up to the middle, and it will reset the wave back to the middle. That's what's called crashing and resetting the wave. So your goal is to walk over here to be safe from the enemy Tryndamere, and then go farm and try to reset the wave. So hopefully that, and the reason why is because you don't want to get stuck here. Because if Sylas freezes and you're stuck here, you are very susceptible to ganks. And that's just, I'm sure you've played mid lane before where you've just gotten ganked over and over again. It's just not a fun experience. Okay, this is good. So Sylas basically lets you reset the wave. So that was really good. You reset it, you push it under a tower, you get a trade-off, that's fine. You need to try and dodge. You messed up dodging the tower, but it still turned out to be a fine trade. Alright, so you have 5 DPS. Okay, so that was really important. So you leveled up. So you're 5, he's 4. That means you're going to get 6 before he does. And specifically for a Sylas matchup, that's freaking huge. Because Sylas, as you know, he steals your ult, right? But if Sylas is 6 and you're 5, he can still steal your ult. So you getting ult before Sylas does gives you a gigantic advantage in pressure in lane. And obviously that counts for any matchup anywhere, but specifically for Sylas, because he benefits the same way you do from your ult. Excuse me, sorry. It's huge to get your 6 before he does. Okay, so that's a perfect example of saying earlier. Let's turn this down, go back, and talk about this. Okay, so this is exactly why you use your E to get out and you don't risk more damage. And remember what I was saying earlier, even if your E can add, like, this is the bar, even if your E can add another, like, 20 damage, you risk allowing Sylas to do his whole combo. So your E adds 20 damage, but his entire combo adds, like, adds like 700 damage. So is that really worth it? No. You'd much rather do the 500 damage and have him do 20 than do 520 and have him do 600, right? Especially if you're under tower, the tower will hit you and do a ton of bonus damage. So this is exactly what I was talking about before when I say you never ever use your E to pile on someone and go back onto them unless you think you can kill them. And in this situation, he was under tower, so you should not have thought you could kill him there because he was under tower. He was going to CC you with his chain, and you're going to die to tower. Like, that was pretty clear, and that's what happened. So let's watch it. So he's low. No. Right, yeah, so he's low, which kind of, I think, is what baits you in diving. I do this all the time still. It's kind of fun, right, to try and dive someone. So I'm a little behind where it actually happened. Let's get up here. Okay, so there. Your E, so you went in and you had your E. You could have just jumped out and kept farming minions with your E, but you tried to stay on him. Because you stayed on him, you're in tower range now. He's going to CC you up, and you are going to quickly go from 100 to 0. And you unfortunately also waste flash because you tried to get out, and you're just unlucky. I think if you flashed, I don't know if you could have based on the CC timing, like when you were actually free, but if you flashed like a little sooner, you would have flashed before the next tower shot aggroed you, and you would have gotten out because Ignite won't kill you here, but the tower shot's going to bring you down to like barely any health. So that's unlucky. But now we died, we lost our pressure, we lost our lead, and we lost our flash, all because we did one mistake, and that was we E'd back on top of Sylas. So I really want to hammer home how bad this is, because it's a bad habit that I did when I was learning Fizz too, because you just think, oh, E is part of my combo, it does more damage, I'll always try and use it to do more damage. But as I showed you with the graph, like the little chart thing, or the bars rather, doing an extra 20 damage is not worth taking in entire health, because you just lost your entire lead right there just because you did. And this applies to other champions too. It's just the concept of overextending a trade is what it's called. Every single champion will have like their optimal trade combo to do as much. It's like, think about it in terms of deltas. I don't know if you work with math or engineering or anything, but a delta is just a difference between two numbers, right? So if the two numbers are your damage output and your damage input, meaning that the amount of damage you do to someone else and the amount of damage you take from someone else, you win a trade by increasing the difference between those two, not by doing the most damage. If you do 700 damage but take 800, that's a way worse trade than doing 350 damage but taking 20. Because in trading, the delta, or that difference between the two, is all that matters. You don't care about anything else. So that's the whole concept of using your E smarter, and I hope that it makes sense. And that's why I'm kind of keep over explaining, because I just want to make sure it makes sense. And you will dominate lanes if you understand this delta, especially in bronze, because people like the people you're going against won't do it properly. They will make the same mistake you're making now, and you're going to get free cleanup kills from them being over aggressive. And then you're also going to get a bunch of more advantages in the lane, because you will absolutely crap on them if you're always at higher health, and that means you always have pressure to do whatever you want and to rotate to your jungler and to put vision down and things like that, because they can't answer you if they're in danger of dying. And that's the whole concept of getting a lane advantage in trades. Okay, so that was a mistake. Similar idea as using... So, similarly to getting baited to use your E to do damage, it's very common to get baited to use your E to do like AoE damage to the wave. So was this a good thing? You did a lot of damage? Sure, but you had a Rengar right here. Like if you just go back 10 seconds, right? 15 seconds. Right. And stop. So Rengar pings that no one's here in Scuttle, so you know where he is. Silas looks like he goes down, which I'm assuming is going to be to ward. Let's find out if he actually does that or not. Yep, so he goes down, he wards, he goes back up. And you see right there, Rengar sees the ward Silas just put down. So Rengar's right here. So why are you wasting your E to go in here? Either commit and jump on the Silas with your Q afterward, and Rengar will come and answer, or save your E, walk around here until Rengar gets up to this point, and then all in the Silas for a gank. So this is just a missed opportunity, right? Like you could have ganked Silas here with Rengar, since Rengar is so close, he's literally standing right here. But instead you use your E to AoE the minion wave, and now you've lost your mobility, because you either have to A, Q onto Silas and risk Rengar not being there in time because you used your E early, or B, now that you used your E and you're here, you have to use your Q on one of these minions to shoot and like Q out and get away from Silas. And now you have no abilities, and you can't get back onto him, and you're not level 6 yet, so you can't shoot your Shark at him yet either. So then Rengar has to just walk away. So this is just a missed opportunity. You know, like this could have been a free kill on Silas, I think. Yeah, no, he's gonna back off because he knows Rengar's over here now. Just put a ward down here. Okay, so why was this a mistake? Well, basically what you did was you had an opportunity to 2v1 Silas, didn't use it, fine, but then you waited till Rengar walked away, and then you tried to 1v1 Silas. And the thing with Silas is, or not Silas, the thing with any matchup, right? You use your ult and it missed. Happens, completely normal. Don't continue the trade, because Silas has your ult too. So think about it. It's easy to conceptualize with Silas because the damage is always the same. If you and Silas have the exact same ability and you miss it and he doesn't, he automatically wins the trade, because your ultimate ability does the most damage, right? That means that if your entire combo is like little, and this entire thing is like this chunk is your ult, Silas has the same thing, little, and then your ult does the same thing. So if you miss this, that means your maximum damage is this. But Silas can still throw the ult, so his maximum potential damage is all of this. So once you miss the ult, that's completely fine, it happens. Just don't finish the trade, because you're basically saying, I only have QEW, Silas has QEW and my R, and one of Silas's abilities also heals him. So there's no way that you're going to out-damage the Silas now once you miss your ult. That's just the reality of the matchup, and it's why Silas kind of hard counters Fizz. Because if you miss your ult, unless you're already just way ahead of the Silas, you can't kill him, and that's just the truth. But this is true for other matchups too, right? It doesn't have to be Silas. Just in general, if you whiff your ult, you have to be really far ahead of the other person to still go in on them and win the trade. Or you have to convince yourself that I'm only trading, I'm not going to go for all in. So unfortunately, you miss the ult, you continue to go in with an ability down, so you just don't. Rengar's gonna try and take it. Oh, no, wait, no. Go back to you and see what you do. Okay, so this is a good opportunity. I want to see what you do here, because Silas is dead. Let's get ward. And you choose to get killed. Fine. No, that's not fine. Okay, so this might work out, but in general, if you don't have your ultimate ability up and you're not like way ahead, like you don't have a ton of items to consider yourself being like really far ahead, this is not a guaranteed kill. So I would have probably rather had you just sit here and take turret plates, because turret plates are guaranteed. You probably could have got at least one, maybe two by the time Silas came back. And if you get 2 turret plates, that's a ton of gold, dude. Like, that's a lot of gold to get right now, and that's gonna help you snowball a ton. Going top is also a great option. If you can kill Urgot And specifically, you want to give the kill to the GP. That way that it increases his lane potential against the Urgot, and the kill will snowball itself without you having to keep coming top. That's also a good option. It's just that killing Urgot without your ult is harder than just getting 2 tower plates, right? So let's see what happens. And yeah, Urgot kills both of you. So that's okay, good. So let's analyze this, right? So you got Urgot. That is good. However, Urgot got GP. And what's the actual laning matchup? Urgot versus GP. So even though you got a kill, so Fizz gets +1, GP got -1 because he died, and Urgot got +1 because he killed the GP, right? So even though you went top and you got yourself a kill, so you helped yourself, you actually made GP's life worse, because GP not only died, and he's going to lose a bunch of minions and pressure now, but he died to the Urgot. So the Urgot got stronger as a result of you coming top, and GP got weaker. So now when you leave and go back mid, and it's just these two again, Urgot now has an advantage. So that's something you might not have thought about, where going top and ganking is actually making life for your GP a lot harder, because even though you got the kill, that helps you, not the GP. The Urgot also got a kill, and the GP died. So what you should have done is just stayed mid and gotten these 2 tower plates. And that would have given you the exact same advantage that you got from going top, but it would not have hurt the GP's lane, right? And now you're saying like, oh, well, how would I have known the GP would have died? Well, I told you. You're ganking an Urgot and you didn't have ult up. Urgot beats GP just like naturally. And I'm sure you can check the scorecard and probably verify that. Yeah, Urgot's currently beating GP. He's got double his farm and he has a kill lead. So just by pressing tab and checking the scoreboard, you know that Urgot is stronger than GP. And you're going to gank without your ult even. That's just asking for GP to die. So maybe now this will be more clear to you, and you can see that in your games. And this will help you better choose when you're in a situation like this. Because you made the right choice in the sense of you should have either gone in the jungle, or gone top, or gone bottom, or got turret plates, right? That's what I said in the very beginning of the game. When you want to get a lead in lane and then spread that lead somewhere else. However, you don't just randomly pick top, jungle, mid, bot. You have to analyze the game, and that will help you choose which one's best. For example, if you went bot right now, the Twitch is perfectly even with the Jhin. I think it would have been easier to go bot and kill the Twitch, or as I pointed out, the easiest solution would have been to just get 2 turret plates, because there's no risk there. Now, let's flip it. Let's say that your team had the Urgot and the other team had the GP, then I 100% would have gone top. I 100% would have gone top, just like you did, if these champions were reversed, because you would have had very little risk of the Urgot dying and very high risk of killing the GP. And then you would have got your advantage, your +1, or you would have gifted your Urgot +1. So like one of you would have got the kill, the other one would have got the assist, so you both get an advantage. And you give Urgot a huge lane advantage and pressure in the lane, which will help him keep the advantage on his own without you having to keep going back up there. So the idea to leave mid lane and do something was right. But the idea doesn't stop there. You then have to analyze what your options are and choose the best option. And unfortunately, going top with the GP and Urgot matchup was not the best option, especially because you didn't have your ults up. So again, sorry if I'm going like too in depth or talking a lot or over explaining. I'm not assuming like you're an idiot, don't know this stuff. It's more just like I'm talking to a screen, so I don't know. So I have to kind of over explain to just make sure that I was clear enough. So I'm gonna keep saying this whenever it happens. I really want to nail this in. You E in, do 0 damage, and then have to walk out and get your entire health bar chunked. You need to stop doing this, because this isn't just a Fizz thing. It's just in general, when you have champions with mobility, 9 times out of 10, you never, ever want to use your mobility skill to walk onto someone, because you have to do what's called the walk of shame out, because now you don't have the mobility to get out, and you take damage the entire time from different sources, whether it's the minions, the abilities, the champions, auto attacks. You always take more damage doing the walk of shame than you do going in, every single time. Like, just look at the health bars. Silas took 10 damage, you took 1,000 damage. That's like ridiculous. So again, I'm gonna keep pointing this out because I want to nail this in your head. You never ever E onto someone as Fizz. And with like Ezreal, you never want to E like into someone as Ezreal. Or you never want to dash into someone as Lucian or Vayne or etc. You can like keep going down the line of all these abilities. This is the reason why. The Walk of Shame, you always take more damage than you dish out by going in. Always. Yeah, so now you died because for no reason, and you almost got Rengar killed because he had to try and help you and save you. Which means that Rengar did get killed. Yeah, so you died and you killed Rengar, which now is going to completely screw over Rengar because the Tryndamere is just going to have a field day in his jungle and completely take all his camps and ruin his day. And now Sylas has an advantage over you. So now you've lost your lead. You are now 2-3 into a 4-2 Sylas. So this game, just honestly, unless the Jhin starts popping off, you lost the game right there because it's just the way the champion matchups are. Sylas counters you and he's winning. Rengar was doing fine. He was 3-0, but he just died trying to save you because of your mistake. So now he lost his lead and all of his jungle pressure. Enter Rengar, so he's not going to be able to kill the Urgot or the Tryndamere or the Sylas late game because he's an assassin and they're all bruisers, or Tryndamere has an invulnerability with his ult. GP is getting dicked on. He has half the farm and he's a kill down. And then the bot lane's even. So if the bot lane starts popping off, you have one chance there to do something, but it's a Jhin. So even if he pops off, he's not going to have the DPS to kill an Urgot or a Sylas late game. So I honest to God, I think the game's lost right here. I might end the recording here. I know we're only 10 minutes in, but I've talked a lot and I focused a ton on laning. If you can take what I've said and improve your laning phase, 100% feel free to record a new game, maybe like a few days from now, show your improvements. And then once you improve, I can focus more on that second game you send me as like the late game, the macro, the rotations, all that stuff. But I honestly think there's enough that I've said in this video already for you to go from, I think you're in bronze 3 all the way up to silver 4, just by improving your laning. And then once you get there, not like once you get to silver 4, but like once you start getting these new habits that I'm talked about, like ingrained into your like actual routine, like your automatic how you play the lane, send me another replay file, and on that one I'll focus more on the mid game, rotations, macro, when to go where, team fighting, decision making, all that fun stuff. It's just that this video is already long and I don't want to take up like much more of your time. So if you have a specific question about this game that I didn't go over because it happened later, message me, either send me an email or message me on Discord or something, and I will reopen the replay file and I'll go to that point and I can make a little video and answer that for you. But otherwise, take all these tips, try to work them in your games, improve, and then send me another video like, let's say like a few days from now or a week from now and see where you're at. Good luck, dude, and good luck in solo queue. Hope you can get the rank you want.